Got it. Thank you all. Appreciate it.
Mr. President, once again, thank you guys.
And as you see, despite the best efforts of the pool reporters, the president not taking questions, but saying he will have plenty more to say.
My man needs the nap.
Or plenty to say about what he just signed into law when he speaks to the nation later tonight. Let me go to Chief White House correspondent Kristen Welker, who has more for us. Kristen?
Well, Lester, we know that this signing took place earlier than was initially expected. The White House saying that they were expecting to get the bill today. It actually arrived here last night, and so this event was pushed up a bit. There is going to be a ceremonial signing tomorrow, possibly in the Rose Garden, and we're told that the president will be joined by Democratic leaders, House Speaker Nancy Pelosi, as well as Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer, those top Democrats who helped to push this legislation through. And that's the backdrop against which the president is going to deliver his first primetime address this evening. And I am told that he is going to talk about where the country has been over this past year, where it is right now, and the...
No, that's not an acceptable debate, you son of a bitch. Like, you know, when people say, oh, he actually went live in the mornings to debate the offline chat and early arrivers when I'm not actually live, that's one thing. But telling people like Pog, the money's there, or like debated got removed is one thing. But telling people Pog, the money's there, you're fucking with people's lives, all right? Come on.
Forward. So he's going to try to strike a balance between being somber, but also looking forward and offering a ray of light about what lies ahead. In terms of what lies ahead, you heard the president there talk about the fact that he will be hitting the road to talk about the elements, what is in that sweeping nearly $2 trillion COVID relief package. He's going to be going to Pennsylvania and Georgia with the vice president a little bit later on next week. But the question becomes, can he fulfill that promise of trying to unify this country? That was a key campaign promise, Lester, as you know, and this piece of legislation passed without any Republican support. Republican lawmakers saying that the price tag was too high, that the legislation was not targeted enough, and that ultimately it would only add to the deficit. So the question becomes, how does President Biden move forward and try to fulfill that promise of bipartisanship?
Okay. Yeah, no, I think everyone in news media that says stuff like this should be on a one-way ticket to Mars, okay? Seriously, just launch them in the orbit, all right? In the aftermath of a pandemic that has destroyed the country and this nation's economy, throwing so many people into poverty and unforeseeable conditions, what we really need to come together and look at is whether unity and bipartisanship happened in the legislative process. Like, you say shit like that, or you add like deficit spending, you're going to fucking jail, okay? In my world, in my future, I'm throwing you in fucking jail. Fuck you, dude. Are you joking? Like, what we need to figure out is actually whether or not Biden can fulfill his promise of uniting with Republicans who have refused to vote on a bill that would help improve the material conditions of the working class only by such a margin that it would nearly be inconsequential at this point. Like, it's turning into like a fucking Onion parody. Okay? You sound like the apparently kid when you use that voice. The guillotines are in my mom's room and bust them out. Anyway, top of the hour to everyone. It is time for another 60-second ad break. I'm Hassan Piker, and this is the Hasanabi broadcast. If you would like to no longer see the ads and have an ad-free broadcasting experience, all you need to do is subscribe. You can do it for $5. Hold on. I'm getting information that you can also do it for free. How could you do it for free? With a Twitch Prime. By connecting your Amazon Prime account to your Twitch account, you get one free Prime subscription a month. Use it on your favorite broadcaster. This is what you sound like with that voice? What is this?
1 second.
What did you think about the ride?
It was great. And apparently, I've never been on live television before, but apparently sometimes I don't watch the news because I'm.
Apparently, the ad break is coming, and the only way to avoid it is by subscribing. And you can do it with a Twitch Prime for free. Any primers in the chat? Here is the 1 minute ad break. Okay.
I'm a kid, and apparently Grandpa just gives me a remote after we watch the Powerball.
It's the Powerball.
Tell me about the ride. What did you think about the ride?
Well, it was great
Why?
because apparently you're spinning around, and apparently every time you get dizzy,
Yeah.
that's all you do is get dizzy.
Is it fun?
Yeah. And I've never ever been on live television. I never ever be on live television.
Are you excited?
Yeah, and apparently I already went down the super slide. When I went down the one, I was scared half to death.
Bro, he's really rolling with it. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's just rolling with it right now. He's like, I'm in the... like, she's going to ask for the microphone back. He's like, no, I'm not giving you the microphone back. Natural.
I just freak out.
Okay.
I love it when fucking little kids have like boomer energy. You know what I mean? Out of nowhere, you're like, what the fuck? You're supposed to be a baby. What are you doing? Like, why are you acting like an old person?
What? I need his name. Hi, honey. Hold on. Yep. Hold on. I'm just gonna ask him. What's his name?
Noah.
Noah. What's your last name?
Deck Ritter.
How do you spell his last name?
Ritter, R-I-T-T-E-R.
Okay. Where are you guys from?
Wilkes-Barre.
Wilkes-Barre. All right, buddy. Good stuff. Have fun.
Wow, he's like high-fiving everybody. This is awesome.
There's a boy here looking for you.
All right.
Comments are turned off. Yeah, like normally little kids are kind of boring. You know what I mean? They don't really bring too much to the table. Like, what are you gonna do? Have a fucking conversation with a little kid? He doesn't know shit. But this one is an exception.
What legislation?
I'm sorry. I'm painfully and brutally honest about little babies. All right. I think babies are fucking boring. They piss, shit, cry all the fucking time. They can't hold a fucking conversation. Like, you should be lucky that I'm letting you survive, baby. I'm gonna feed you if you need food. Okay. Just, I can't even fucking debate the baby. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're celebrating like a dumb shit that like every human being knows how to do. Oh great, you learn how to walk. Like, dude, I've been doing it for 29 years. All right, chill the fuck out. Everybody calm down. All right. I will destroy a baby. Okay.
Will he aim to take up next? We'll look to see if we get any answers about that when he addresses the nation a little bit later on this evening. Lester?
All right, Kristen Welker, thanks. Let's go to Chief Washington correspondent Andrea Mitchell. And on Kristen's point that this was a partisan vote, is that the roadmap of the way business will be done, future legislation during this period?
Not necessarily. They were clearly going to try to reach out again to Republicans, but I think that this certainly shows, and we're told that it shows that he believes that there is such strong support, more than 70% support for what is in this package around the country, and from Republican mayors and even some governors, other local officials, that he thinks it really is bipartisan. That's what they're pointing to. And also, when he talks about rebuilding the backbone of America, Lester, that's really core to Joe Biden's belief about this. The president really believes that he needs to target this to working and middle class people. It is so different than the tax bill that was also completely partisan, the first measure that Donald Trump passed when he became president. And this is almost the same amount, just about the same amount, $212.
What's the easiest collab on someone who's upset about Biden bringing back the capital gains tax? Ask them why they think intergenerational wealth is good. First, ask them if they plan on making that much money. Like, ask them how many people are going to benefit from it. Because if I'm not mistaken, the 5 million to 11.7 million threshold that changed under the Trump administration rewriting the tax code literally impacted 15,000 Americans. Okay? Or no, it wasn't 15,000 Americans. How many people? Helped. Let's see. No, the 15,000 Americans is or Americans making over 15 or $10 million a year, I think. Yeah, the death tax was even. Okay, so. Whew, okay, so how many Americans actually currently pay an estate tax, the state governments, versus at the federal level, right? So the Tax Policy Center estimated that as of 2018, guys, the Tax Policy Center estimated that as of 2018, only 1,700 estates would owe taxes following the passage of the tax reform plan in Congress. Oh, wait, did you ask capital gains or estate tax? Sorry. Oh, shit, my bad. Capital gains tax, right? That's what you were asking? No, it's a good thing. Capital gains tax should be increased as well. I read it and I was still thinking of estate tax. I don't know why. Where the fuck was I on estate tax? Did you know Nihachu, the underdog you felt bad for on the show yesterday, is at 30K Andy right now? I mean, yeah, she's like a Minecraft streamer, right? Of course she's a 30K Andy. 30K Andy in the Minecraft world is like tiny in comparison to like most of the fucking Minecraft Andys. But yeah, no, I felt bad because like she was actually trying to play the game and we were out with we had knives out. Like that's why I felt bad. And she was really nice. Like when you talk about raising capital gains tax, you're going to alienate the entire portion of your audience that's made money off of GME and AMC. I don't give a fuck. Capital gains taxes don't apply to hedge funds that have money offshore. Fuck the average Joe. So, capital gains tax is one of the having a much lower tax rate on capital gains is a contributing factor to income inequality because the overwhelming majority of the American working class actually make a living off of their income. And when a larger percentage of their income is being taxed than the capital gains, then you're basically incentivizing wealthy people to exclusively invest in the stock market and exclusively make capital gains rather than work for their wages and it's yet another way for the wealthy to engage in tax avoidance. Less than 1 year before selling is taxed at income rate. Then graduate capital gains. I think that the one problem I have is raising taxes under a neoliberal president is that a lot of that is just going to go straight from your pocket into the military. It doesn't matter. Like that doesn't matter. That's a separate problem. You can't pin a separate problem against another one. It's like saying we shouldn't fund the IRS to be able to pursue those who are taking advantage of tax loopholes and tax shelters and whatnot, because all of those taxes that the government makes is going to go back to fill the coffers of the defense industry, right? Like that's a separate issue. You are referencing a separate issue and a separate problem that you need to solve additionally on top of that.
$1 trillion, but that helped higher earning people. He believes that the future of the economy is to rebuild it from the bottom up, and that's exactly what he's doing and what he's going to be selling around the country, Lester.
All right, Andrea Mitchell, thank you. And so President Joe Biden's landmark American Rescue Plan becomes law of the land. I'll see you a bit later on NBC Nightly News and again at 8 Eastern.
Investors are able to hold on to their shares and only sell when they have made enough money from them. To most investors, this is an advantage since it gives them an opportunity to prepare and sell the shares only when they are sure that the taxes will not affect their trading activities. Also, federal taxes aren't how we actually fund things. It just takes money out of the circulation to keep inflation down. In the Netherlands, many Turkish people are mad at the Green Party member for supporting... Okay, I don't care about fucking Green Party, and I don't even care about the Green Party in America, my guy. Come on. Jesus Christ. Okay, let's see what Mr. Pillow, Mike Pillow, has to say.
Can you imagine now all the influencers coming like your right side broadcasting? These guys, it's their livelihoods. People that have small podcasts, they rely on income from their advertising, and this is going to be the best. People are going to have more followers, 10 times more followers. I can't even tell you that part. That technology where you're going to have 10 times more of an audience. Steve, your own audience will be 10 times bigger. You're never going to have to worry about a YouTube or a Twitter again. Jack Dorsey and Mr. Google, they are going to be a thing of the
Mr.
past
Google.
as far as those two entities go. Can you imagine now all the influencers coming like your right side broadcasting? These guys, it's their livelihoods. People that have small podcasts, they rely on income from their advertising, and this is going to be the best. People are going to have more followers, 10 times more followers. I can't even tell you that part. That technology where you're going to have 10 times more of an audience. Steve, your own audience will be 10 times bigger. You're never going to have to worry about a YouTube or your...
He was on such a rant that I didn't even recognize that it repeated.
Or Twitter again. Jack Dorsey and Mr. Google.
Like, I literally didn't even comprehend that he was repeating the take. Tucker Carlson responding to the New York Times and their reporter Taylor Lawrence. A pretty good little scam the New York Times has going. They get to hurt you at will, but you're not allowed to notice. Notice what they're doing, and you're calculated and cruel.
Soldier.
Dude, the idiocy. Okay, here. Tucker Carlson is like shitting on Taylor Lorenz, right? The idiocy of which, of like Tucker Carlson's rhetoric, I'm just going to describe by accurately summarizing what the fuck he has done thus far. Tucker Carlson has one of the most popular broadcasts in the country, okay? He's one of the most powerful political pundits in the country as a consequence of his gigantic audience. What Tucker Carlson is doing in his broadcast when he compares Taylor Lorenz to motherfucking Hillary Clinton and Meghan Markle is basically stating that a fucking New York Times style reporter, not an editor, not an executive, not a fucking union boss, a New York Times style reporter holds the keys to power within the like elite aristocracy. It is one of the most psychotic fucking arguments I've ever heard, and therefore the New York Times style reporter should be fucking, destroyed in the marketplace of ideas because of her fucking coverage, because of her participation in the elite media cabal as the New York Times style reporter. I need to remind you once again, the New York Times style reporter is pulling the fucking strings of society. Just think about how fucking dumb that take is. Just say you're triggered because she covers some of the fucking tech CEOs that you suck off to because in a negative capacity, and move on. That's it. The real reason why everyone is fucking losing their minds over it is because she covers some of the toxicity that is in the VC space, and those motherfuckers get away with a lot of shit because they claim to be social libertarian, and they are the ones who fucking pay Tucker Carlson's salary, or they have interests completely aligned with those who pay Tucker Carlson's salary. And that is the real reason why so many people get mad at this shit. That's the fucking problem. Regardless of someone's coverage, their lives should not be fucked over, in my opinion. Okay? I think that it's ridiculous that because you cover people appropriately, because you cover like technocratic libertarian psychos and their delusional fantasies appropriately in the New York Times, like that should not open you up to incessant harassment. And it's such a weird conversation because now Taylor is posting what, like, Taylor's posting like what people do to her, what people say to her, versus Glenn posting what people say to him. And it's like, yeah, both are fucking bad, okay? Neither of these people deserve to get death threats regularly. And I say this as someone who gets death threats regularly for my coverage. Hope you, your family, and everyone you know are dragged out by Antifa into the street and doused in gasoline and lit on fire. Hope you cry yourself to sleep every night. I hope you take your own life. I hope you're scum of the earth. Why are you still breathing? Like, this is saying like this is bad and unacceptable and shouldn't happen. Is not a ridiculous fucking take. Okay, it's not a ridiculous take. It is ridiculous to turn around and be like, oh, well, you're getting these sorts of fucking takes. Well, you deserve it because of your coverage as the style reporter at New York Times is psychotic. Okay? Sorry. I guess I'm a bit of a lib when it comes to sending a sea of fucking harassment and death threats to people. I've been hearing a lot about the mass quitting of the NV Dem party after the DSA took over and how these guys who left themselves a massive severance and drained the coffers. Yeah. Senator Darko said, fuck Tucker. Fuck Tucker Carlson. While he was practicing his two-step, America's female warriors were hunting down Al-Qaeda, improving the strength of America's women. Happy belated International Women's Day to everyone but Tucker, who even I can dance better than. So what happened? Did Tucker Carlson say women can't serve in the military or something? What the fuck does he know about service in the military?
So we've got new hairstyles and maternity flight suits.
This is, again, like, this is conservatism through and through, all right? This notion that, like, trans people can't serve in the fucking military, women can't serve in the fucking military. And it also pisses me off to a degree because, like, I don't give a shit about having, like, more black trans female drone fighter pilots, okay? And it's not about that because the unfortunate reality is that the American Defense Department is the largest single the jobs program on the planet, and it's the largest single hiring body on the planet, okay? Followed by Walmart and the Chinese military. So just you have to recognize that this is the largest employer on the fucking planet. So when you're shitting on the largest employer on the fucking planet and saying women shouldn't be employed by the largest employer on the planet, you're being a fucking jackass. It's just another way for some dipshit to couch their misogynistic or transphobic or fucking racist points of view by pushing this agenda. Now, inversely, on the other side, you have the military being like, oh, girl boss, you're fucking girl boss bitches when you nuke a fucking village in Afghanistan. Female power, let's go. That's fucking bullshit too.
Pregnant women are going to fight our wars. It's a mockery of the U.S. military. While China's military becomes more masculine as it's assembled...
Nobody has ever said that? Yeah, right. Have you never seen fucking military recruitment ads? Are you out of your mind, dude? It looks like fucking United Colors of Benetton. I can't believe I'm saying such old, outdated fucking terms here. But it's literally like, look at this Asian drone fighter pilot. Look at this black drone fighter pilot. Have you ever seen, like, it's like CIA recruitment. It's the same shit. It's literally like, look at how fucking diverse our programs are. Anyway, listen. Ultimately, it's still the fucking largest employer and the biggest government jobs program. It is an unfortunate fucking reality that that is the case, especially because that largest government jobs program could be doing a lot of fucking good. All right? It could be doing a lot of good. A lot of good. And instead, it just does a lot of bad because our only viable industry is death, destruction, destabilization, and fucking murder. Second largest employer on the planet is the Chinese military. Walmart is third. I know. It goes back and forth.
the world's largest navy, our military needs to become, as Joe Biden says, more feminine, whatever feminine means anymore, since men and women no longer exist. The bottom line is it's out of control, and the Pentagon's going along with this. Again, this is a mockery of the U.S. military and its core mission, which is winning wars. One of the few people who's been paying attention to this is someone who served in the U.S. military, Indiana Congressman Jim Banks.
No, I'm not going to cover the transphobic bill in Mississippi about women's sports again, okay? Literally, this is an ongoing conversation over and over again. I'm sorry, guys. I see no reason to have this conversation again and again, when literally the motivations have not changed. The points of view have not changed. There is no new fucking point. It's like literally asking me to cover the fucking $1.9 trillion stimmy every fucking day of every week for the past 3 months, okay? Trans women in sports, I've argued it to death a gajillion times over. Find it on the YouTubes, okay? I have a fuckload of videos on it. I do not care. I literally do not care. It's transphobic to assume that trans women are not real women, and therefore saying that trans women who are somehow different than other types of women, I guess, should not be able to fucking compete in women's sports by people who literally do not give a shit about women's sports, okay? They do not care and are doing it specifically so they can be transphobic is a ridiculous conversation to have over and over and over again. And that's precisely why you will never be able to fucking find legitimate examples of trans women outcompeting cisgender women. And that's why everyone always goes back to that one fucking time Fallon Fox was able to break someone's goddamn skull. And literally, that's it. That's it. Fallon Fox broke someone's skull in 2014 or 2016 or 2015 or whatever the fuck happened. So now we will always go back to that endlessly over and over again. She's gotten fucking owned into oblivion since then, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because, hey, it happened one time in a fucking combat sport as though it never happens. It was pretty badass too, breaking someone's skull. No, dude, it's combat sports. People break people's skulls all the fucking time, and she literally gets owned into oblivion all the time now. But the one fucking time, the one freaking time that that actually happened, then you are so wrong. No, I'm not. And let me tell you something. Okay, here's God's honest truth, and I'm being honest about it as well when I say this. I do not give a fuck about sports in general, and I definitely don't give a fuck about women's sports at all. Okay, I don't even give a fuck about male sports, and you definitely don't give a fuck about it either. So caping for women's sports because you want to be transphobic is something that I just refuse to fucking acknowledge going forward. You think Governor Tate Reeves gives a single fuck about women's sports? Get the fuck out of here, dude. Going forward, transphobes that fucking write bills like this have to sit through every fucking high school softball game. Actually, that's probably they're perverts. They probably would like that. Going forward, you just have to do that. No more male sports for you. You are forced to fucking watch high school softball games. Okay? No more male sports. The women that compete in women's sports care about it? No, that's also a lie. The only people that fucking care about it are TERFs, okay? Anyway. The same motherfuckers who go, WNBA, lol, what a joke. Let me tell you a joke. WNBA are the same motherfuckers who are literally freaking out. They're high school women's sports is going to be ruined now because there's 3 trans girls in the entire fucking country and they haven't broken a single fucking record. But oh my God, literally we have to start locking trans people in jail. Oh, I wonder what is the real motivating principle behind this sort of legislation. Is it truly the fact that people actually legitimately give a fuck about women's sports, specifically high school sports for women? Or Is it because you just want to be transphobic and get fucking brownie points with your audience that are like terrified of trans people coexisting? Especially, and here is the last thing I'm going to say over and over again that I've repeated a million times, okay? Every counter that like transphobic people have to this argument to defend the notion that like or every type of like every type of policy that transphobic people put forward is already in existence. Like they'll say, okay, well, why don't we just limit testosterone? Oh, really? That's such a fucking unique and interesting idea. Well, I'm glad you had that talking point ready because they already fucking do that. But you didn't know that because you don't give a shit. You don't actually care about fucking limiting people's testosterone or making sure that like, there's certain levels of testosterone that's allowed in athletic competition because it fucking already exists. But you don't give a shit because you just want to be fucking transphobic. That's it. Just like you do not give a shit about female sports or male sports in general, and you just want to be fucking transphobic. That's it. Just say it. Okay. Just because most people who complain are transphobic does not mean there isn't a nuanced discussion to be had about actual solutions. Yeah, the actual solutions already exist though, and that's precisely why I'm saying like fuck off. No, this is just the expression. This is an expression of like someone being transphobic by like adding intellectual arguments into their transphobia. Yeah, I know the gun control. You don't know the solution, Muppet. Yeah, okay, dude. Cis women have been speaking out about this, though? Oh, yeah? The 3 fucking articles you saw from, like, 3 TERFs that have never fucking even played a sport in their lives? No, fuck off, dude. It's not even a fucking real problem. As a matter of fact, there are more fucking cis women that don't have a problem with trans women actually participating in the same sports that they're participating in. But the only reason why you hear about it is because everyone's so fucking pressed. That's it. It's not a real issue. It's just one that like people have made into a fucking real issue by constantly crying about it and complaining. And the inherent irony is it literally revolves around fucking women's sports by people who normally would turn around and be like, lol, women's sports, who gives a shit? Here, let's watch 6 woman accuses Governor Cuomo. I don't even want to cover this anymore. Yeah, he's a fucking creep. Yeah, I'm not even going to cover that. Tucker responds, we already briefly talked about it. Woke insanity. This is why Pierce versus Meghan matters. Oh, fuck that. Okay, I'm not watching any of this shit. This all sucks. All right, I'm going to fucking LSF. Fuck all this dog shit. Okay. Okay. Politics speedrun, baby. There you go. Marjorie Taylor Greene just referred Representative David Cicilline, an Italian American, as Representative Mussolini. I never thought I'd see a lawmaker resort to bigoted attacks against so many ethnic groups as I've seen from Greene. Representative Taylor Greene is so racist, she's bringing back bigotry against Italians. Based. Protect the pastafarians. Yeah, I'm not going to get into like the underlying problems with testing testosterone levels in sports that end up even unintentionally harming cis women as well. Like Caster Semenya is a great example of this. It's just like a long and complicated process. I'm not going to get into it. It's just like not worth it. I'm sorry. Okay, I talk about it all the fucking time, and then we still lock into like 3 hours. If you think that's me being transphobic, then sorry. There it is. Okay, what is this, doctor?
Yeah, I sort of feel like we're at a natural stopping point or pausing point, maybe is a better way to talk about it. Makes me think back to, these emails that I wrote to my friends a couple years ago. And I remember I showed them
Testosterone also helps with muscle production. Okay, dude, I'm glad you watched Joe Rogan. Okay.
One of my colleagues, and I was like, I was thinking about talking about some of this stuff publicly, and I was like, but I'm not ready to yet because I'm pretty sure I'm going to lose my job, at Harvard, an academic position. And he was like, oh no, if you talk about this, you're not going to just lose your academic position, you're going to lose all of your positions. And so I was like, oh, okay, interesting. So
yeah, got to make strategic.
What is this? What is this about?
Back to these emails that I wrote to my friends and a couple years ago, and I remember I showed them to one of my colleagues, and I was like,
Dr. He's talking about what? Dr. He would have lost more than his job if he talked about men's issues and suicide. What the fuck? Harvard is certainly not the progressive bastion people want to paint it as, and they've recently done incredibly famous professor tenure based on political bias. Quote, the professor, the upper echelons of Harvard look like the National Hockey League. Yeah, dude. Harvard is very notorious for being too woke. That's what I think of when I think of fucking Harvard. I think they're talking about Cornell West, though, in this circumstance, right? Like, this person is actually talking about Cornell West. This is actual propaganda, dude, clipped out of context. Yeah, like, this is just fucking bait for dumbasses to think that, like, Harvard is actually a institution that, like, is too woke. That person is correctly pointing out that it's too conservative, which is true. Harvard, of course, is a conservative bastion because that's where all the fucking wealthy people go and learn all of the methods to uphold the status quo. But having said that, most dumbasses on the internet are like, Harvard is actually so woke and over the top woke like Yale is, blah, blah, blah. It's like, dude, yeah, no, these operations that fucking are basically institutions built to protect the status quo are literally fucking churning out like CIA operatives. But you're right, that they're actually doing it for like real, genuine social change that they want to change. It's just like, here, it actually ties into the fucking dumbass story from Barry Weiss. Remember that we were talking about the miseducation of America's elites? Here's a person who actually went to fucking Harvard Westlake, and I know some fucking kids that went to Harvard Westlake as well. I'm dying. I went to this school. Once in a discussion about affirmative action, a kid said he would always prefer to hire other white people. Once in a debate about flag burning, a white kid said he'd like to set on fire flag burners. One kid beat a girl with a hammer for not dating him and then went on to be an officer of the local GOP group. A kid in my year, like, these are all incredibly rich people, okay? Incredibly powerful children of incredibly powerful fucking people. This notion that they're going to be, like, fucking woke because there's, like, one Marxist teacher at Harvard Westlake or some shit is so idiotic and so painful and so laughable that I don't know what to fucking tell you. When, in fact, we know that, like, a standard private school is churning out DUIs by the fucking hot minute. And getting away with literally every fucking crime that these teenagers commit that a black child would get fucking gunned down on the streets for by saying it's fucking affluenza. They also have a famous story about Alan Dershowitz, recently famous Epstein lawyer and Trump's lawyer submitting complaints to prevent Norm Finkelstein from getting tenure after Dershowitz lost a public debate about Palestine to him. It was basically public information that this happened, and Harvard did nothing about it. In my opinion, they know that their professorships are just political positions, and they don't care. Exactly. Whoa, what the fuck is going on here, by the way? Like, incredibly woke comments under otherwise probably, like, reactionary cannon fodder. I talk a decent amount about men's issues, and it's so annoying to always get dismissed with how you are only bringing up the counter problems women have in society. Yeah, the problem is that MRA is a reactionary movement, okay? Men's issues can be very perfectly encaptured under class issues, okay? There is a increasing suicide rate amongst men. Like, it's a huge fucking problem. This is a huge problem. A lot of that can directly relate back to the issues that they face under their class position and the lack of coverage from that point of view, because most Western societies do not look at a single fucking point of view from a class position. If you're getting any sort of fucking if you are ever ever in a bind because of your class position, then it doesn't matter. Like, who gives a shit? Fuck you. Like, we are trained to look at everything specifically from an identity point of view, and considering the fact that historically, as a consequence of gender patriarchy, men, specifically white men, have been the dominant class throughout most of the fucking history in Western societies. It's just like whenever you bring it up from a white male point of view, everyone's gonna fucking laugh at you for understandable fucking reasons. Just react, man. We don't want to hear about this. Oh my god, I can't anymore. What? Then get the fuck out. Wait, why am I fucking timing them out for 1 week? Dumbass. Just react, man. Yeah, react to my cock. Stupid fuck. Yep, just kill yourself if you're a white dude. That's what I said. Is that what I said? Did you hear me say that? No. But there were working class men back then. I understand. There always will be. We're talking about the dominant group. We're talking about a dominant group. That doesn't mean that there are still that white people aren't fucking oppressed. I always talk about this literally all the goddamn time. Let's head on down to the comments. The intellectual battle between Reddit-style certified psychologists. It comes down to this. Let men and women make choices, even if they're different at large. This equity stuff should stop. There's no benefit of looking at people by the group identities. They're making decisions that should be based on individual circumstances. Men and women are different in temperament. It's coming full cycle. You're going to see men and women turn on each other, and races too. Okay, brother. So woke identity politics, leftists are out of control, and Reddit does a great job promoting all their false narratives on a daily basis. This is why people like Jordan Peterson are so popular. Someone who actually acknowledges men's issues is a rare but brilliant sight. Yeah, dude. Jordan Peterson does exactly what all of these fucking weirdos who hate female streamers and call them e-thoughts do, but for young and rudderless ship men. Okay, I don't know how else to describe it. Jordan Peterson is the white male Deepak Chopra for all of these young fucking kids. That all of these young men that do not have guidance in their lives, okay? That's it. He finds and cultivates a community of simps from a lot of incels and kids that feel like no one is speaking for the alienation that they feel right now. And that is a very real alienation that you feel. But all that he does is basically reconfirm your preconceived biases, and you like it because he tells you that it's not your fucking fault, it's society's fault. It's society's fault that you feel the way that you do, and there is truth to that, but not in the way that Jordan Peterson tells you. He just does like the inverse of whatever you consider to be SJW politics. He just does the inverse of that, okay? I agree with you, but depression and suicide rates for men is more than just a class problem. Toxic masculinity and patriarchy oppresses men in different ways than it oppresses women, and it should definitely be discussed, but not only when women are trying to discuss their own oppression. There are public figures who do talk about these things in very constructive ways, but MRAs are not interested in that. Yes, MRAs are only interested in bringing up fucking male problems in the same way that like fucking all lives matter folks are never there for all lives, but only bring up all lives matter when people are talking about Black Lives Matter because they are reactionary. It's a reaction to progress, okay? It's an inability to change and a reaction to the progress. That's why it's always used as a counter whenever people are talking about fucking feminism. So yeah, you end up literally devaluing your own movement. It doesn't really matter outside of that anyway. It doesn't matter that like these dumbasses are fucking devaluing the men that that experience a fuckload of problems in today's society, but MRAs are male rights activists. Yes, exactly. Wow, incel politics are literally identity politics. Hilarious irony. Yes, incels are also looking for structural change. A lot of men on the internet and a lot of boys on the internet do not have proper guidance, and they also look to structural analysis, to feel comfort that it's not actually their fault, that it's not their personal problems or individual setbacks that they could potentially work through in a healthy manner and change their lives for the better. It's actually structural issues like women, having more of a place in the workforce, and third wave feminism and sexual liberation for women, and women allowing women having the right to choose their sexual partners, and then therefore leading to whatever the fuck these dumbasses believe, like female hypergamy. You know what I mean? Like all of that is still the very same structural analysis, is a similar kind of structural analysis that they criticize when it comes to other marginalized communities. The difference is when black people are talking about systemic racism, they're correct. It is well documented. It is calculated. It is codified. Well, but when the dominant class is talking about like the structural problems with women having more liberty and being able to choose their sexual partners, it is not a fucking legitimate concern. What guidance if you're short, ugly? No guidance will help. Women find you unattractive? Yeah, guidance will help. LMAO. No, brother, you just want to feel sad. I'm sorry. It's a way to feel better about yourself. That's it. Like, you just want to feel sad, and it's a way to feel better about yourself, so you keep seeking that negative shit because it makes you feel good. And I can relate to that because I love reading negative comments about myself, okay? It's a coping mechanism that you engage in. I do it too. I love reading fucking all the worst shit that people say about me. I love it. It's just super toxic. It's super terrible, but I fucking love that shit. Anyway. Wait, someone explain this? How would this affect his job? My guess is he would use facts because truth is all that matters. Men have the highest suicide rate around the world. All the supporting group for men is non-existent. Like, the reason why supporting group for men is non-existent isn't literally fucking women being like, you can't have a support group for yourself. It's because of toxic masculinity. It's because of gender patriarchy hurting other fucking men. It's this ridiculous approach to mental health that men have. Women get raped and it's a tragedy, but the reality is men are raped more than women statistically. No one talks about it. Like, again, it's because as a boy, you're supposed to suck it the fuck up. You're a man. You're supposed to, when you're hurt, you're not supposed to admit it. That's sort of, that's where this fucking comes from. Okay. Also, I don't think the statistic is true. Maybe he's talking about like prison. But like jail is the reason why it's like that, for the record. But then when you counter that with like, yeah, we should have mental health therapy for men and men should have support groups and blah, blah, blah. Then people turn around and go, oh, well, they're pussies. Like they should be able to deal with it on their own. Like so you're reinforcing the same fucking systems that literally put you in this position to begin with. It fucks you over, my guy. Anyway, Quigle says 90% of rape victims are female, although there are arguments that male victims severely underreport. Yeah. Anyway, lots of politics on LSF, which is not necessarily bad. I'm surprised, but angry guys in chat should check out r/men's lib on Reddit because it's an actual good support for men's liberation. Do you think there's a reasonable expectation that this kind of toxic thinking will go away? It seems so ingrained in our society. No, it's not going to go away. And the reason why it's not going to go away is because it's very good deflection. It's a very good distraction from the actual methods of dealing with a problem at hand. And it's like the liberal side of this is like campaigns that people engage in where they like want to fucking cancel someone immediately without like applying additional fucking context. Liberals do it in that way where they can't deal with fucking structural racism because it's incredibly difficult to do. They are rightfully angry about unaddressed grievances. So because people in positions of power can't be taken down, they turn around and they attack whatever the fuck they can with righteous anger, maybe in a lot of instances misdirected, but still righteous anger that in some circumstances is literally disproportionate because they recognize that maybe they can have a little bit of a fucking moment of victory, some solace that they are able to change something in society. When these are not real, you're not actually contributing any sort of like meaningful material change. You're just making yourself feel better, okay? And the same shit goes for, you know, the other side of the equation. If it's misdirected and disproportionate, it's not righteous. No, the motivating principle is understandable. That's what I'm saying. People tend to excuse their own behavior because of all the factors, but don't extend that same understanding to others. Okay, Rob returns $10 to a cyclist who dropped it.
Try to line up the... That guy just lost $10. You see that? I'm gonna give it to him.
Why don't you ever debate people you criticize like JP or Ben? Because Jordan Peterson is a vegetable. I don't know if he still is. And Ben Shapiro would never debate me, and neither would Steven Crowder. I would love to debate all of them.
Let's go. Yeah. I believe.
The true one last thing I'm going to say about this is this previous subject. Sorry, true masculine or like whatever positive quality that you want to attribute to men and women as well, vice versa, comes from confidence. Okay, inner peace that you have found within yourself because you know what your limitations are, you know what your goals are, you can set goals for yourself and you can achieve them. You believe in yourself and you have inner peace. Okay. It's very difficult to accomplish. It's easier said than done, 100%. But when you have true confidence, for example, as I've mentioned in role play, I will revert this back to role play like I do with everything else. You can take L's with ease because it doesn't fucking matter because you know that you are bigger than that. It doesn't say anything about you. That's how this fucking works. So a lot of the shit that other guys other guys who are weak will project upon other men is what we talk about when we say toxic masculinity. Harming men because they are basically locking other men into this weird trap. Okay? You are literally locking yourself and others into this like weird area where you don't want to self-improve. I can think of some else Hassan couldn't take very well. Yeah, if it pertains to something that I truly believe in with my entire fucking heart and chest, yeah, I'm not gonna take the L, Sweaty, because you think that I was doing a toxicity or some shit. I take plenty of fucking L's and I apologize when I overstep all the goddamn time. You've been here long enough to know that.
すいません。さっきは1000円倒れた。No problem. See you.
What a fucking saint, dude. The angel of Shibuya, right? 5 Anthonio loses it after hearing Corbyn explain X.
So, anytime I see this individual, it frightens me. It frightens me. So we had to flee from him because he was chasing after us.
Got it. Okay. All right.
We had reasonable suspicion that his existence was going to lead to a crime. Which, hell, how could you not? I'll be honest, it's probably a probable cause that his existence is going to lead to a crime when you look at that rap sheet.
Was he wearing a mask?
He was wearing a helmet to cover his face.
Oh.
So,
yeah, your shit take on the Nintendo UI is the fattest L you've taken on this live stream. Okay, all right, Nintendo nerds. Nintendo nerds. X and Trooper Andrews are reunited. So what's up? Did he get banned or did he not get banned? I'm confused. I will do Okay Buddy today in honor of yesterday's Hive Mind victory and utilization of Okay Buddy. XQC was unbanned last night and played off stream, but it was bugged and he's actually banned for 14 days, so we got rebanned. So what the fuck happened? Like, confirmed, no trial, not trial tonight. The unban was a glitch apparently, banned until the 21st. Y'all, his masculine issues along the lines of Kant's problem with Rousseau's social contract? What?
well, X, it's good to see you in town.
Thanks, man.
I missed you, as weird as that sounded.
Oh, thank you, man. Thank you. I missed you too, pal. Hey, listen, I'm doing a new leaf. So any ideas you think that I'm doing crimes, be going crazy, dumping cars in the ocean, get that thing out of your head, man.
Maybe turning in the leaf, but it's a part of the same tree.
Baby. Baby, yeah, you know what they say, right? You know what they say, pal, right?
What's that?
If you want to dance, be prepared to face the music. And yesterday night, you danced all night. And tomorrow, you face the music, pal.
I mean, this did not age well. He literally was so addicted to GPA that he checked to see if he was unbanned. Holy fuck. I mean, it's a lot of fun, dude. It's a lot of fun. Look, my hot take on this is that when he comes back, he's probably going to be really good for a little bit, and he's going to probably revert back to the old norms. And ultimately, it doesn't even fucking matter as long as he's not like ruining other people's games and shit. Like, I don't like my grievances with XQC at this stage do not revolve around fucking his like role play at all. Thank you so much for introducing me to GTRP. I play GTA Online, but RP seems more interesting. Yeah. So I'm late to the topic on toxic masculinity. What? Poorly aged? Wait, what do you mean? I just said he's gonna turn over the new leaf a little bit, and then he's gonna revert back to the norm. What are your grievances with XG based on them? No, it wasn't. I don't give a shit about the fucking stream sniping and trying to relentlessly murder me and Tony over and over again. It is literally a fucking video game. Like, in that circumstance, I don't care about the video game as much as I care about the way he fucking reacted afterwards to me specifically, and like how much of that grievance he held on to and like directly attributed to me when I didn't even like go to the admins or anything like that. Did he say sorry? No, he did not. I would have. I'm not gonna lie. I am actually upset and would have thought that like a fucking video game would not make him behave this way. You know what I mean? No, of course he never apologized. Like, I was literally, even in that moment, I was trying to be like helpful, and he misunderstood what I was saying, continued on with a narrative, didn't even fucking give the time of day to like the thoughtful message that I wrote to him, even in that circumstance where I should be pissed off at him. And you know, half of his fucking audience still thinks I fucked him over or some shit, and like lied about my situation. Like, oh yeah, chat made me actually like attack him.